Hey everybody, it's Alan Smith and welcome back to the channel, and the channel where I get to share my hobby time with all of you fabulous, wonderful people out there. And today I'm going to bring you a little special treat, something I've been thinking about here recently, and that is I wonder what the top selling games are up to 2020 and on into 2022. And I wonder if anyone out there is compiling this information out there. Well, there is. I found a place. They kind of focus on board games, but they also have a subsection in their website that rates by sales miniature wargaming, right? So I found this. I also found a top 10 list that we're going to go over real quick to show you the comparative of what some of the customers of this company, TTG, rates the games for miniature wargaming, the top 10, and see how that differs what people rate as good games and what is actually selling, right? So it's a big difference. So we're going to go here to the main screen, and oh, we got a Poise ad. I don't want to see that. I don't know if I can get rid of it. So we're going to start with the top of the list, and as you would have figured, or not figured, I pretty much figured it would probably be dominant by Games Workshop, and it is. This is the reason why this company, guys, is a monolith in the gaming industry. They've just got all the cylinders firing. Yeah, they've pissed some people off in the past. Don't get me started. A lot of people feel their kits are too expensive, but you got to admit their kits are amazing. The models are great. They're well cast, and you know, after we start playing with this soft plastic and getting the mold lines off of soft plastic, you know why they've always gone straight for the hard plastic, right? Because it makes the model easier to clean, easier to prep, and with the newer kits, the word that we're getting down here at the studio is these newer kits have very little mold lines, right? Which means they're using a very high pressure, very hot mold injection to get really crisp, clean molds and model kits. So we're going to start the number one, Warhammer 40K. You guys out there that play 40K, I hope to bring some of that content on the channel here soon and share my old collection from the late 80s when I was in college, and show you some of the old molds and some of the old kits that they were putting out back then, including the metal Space Orcs, the metal Space Marines that they used to put out in the late 80s. So yeah, we're going to go down the list here. Warhammer 40K, of course, at the top of the list. They even have some nice links here on Amazon. I've clicked on a few of them, and the prices on some of these kits, most of the kits, have gone up some. So it tells you that, you know, we're moving up on what they're getting for a lot of these kits. So and it also points out that in that game system, the new starter kit, which is the Warhammer 40K First Strike starter set. So I think if I go that direction, I may want to look at that. And if I want to get back into some content here, which I do. And right below it, Warhammer 40K Dark Imperium is the next best-selling kit. Right, you got the Dark Imperium box set. That's going for about $136-ish. I would assume if the sales drop a little bit, Amazon lowers the price. If the sales are strong, they will raise the price. Right? Hey, supply and demand, guys. This is how it works. Warhammer 40K Kill Team. Now this was talked about on the old Beasts of War, aka on tabletop. They'd had a lot of guys coming in from Games Workshop to promote this when it was first released. So this is your classic skirmish style, lower model count, and then the Kill Team starter. I can't tell if that's the book or a starter kit. It's $34. It looks like the book. We go right below number 4. The number 4 is Age of Sigmar. All of us fantasy guys, it's going to rub us a little bit the wrong way, because this is what fantasy was flushed for Age of Sigmar. I don't know, I think it was sometime last fall, maybe late last summer 2019. I did go play a game of Battle Group with Rob and the guys at a gaming store in Southeast Columbus or East Columbus. And I saw a lot of under 30, even under 40 people playing this, so it's very popular. It's really kind of morphed into another new age fantasy battle system, right? It was really what it appeared to me, because they did have some nice sized armies on the board, right? Some talk here. Mordheim and Age of Sigmar starter box is $200, right? $200. We're gonna go right down to the number 5 position is Necromunda. Games Workshop they're dominating. They're just dominating. You know, the online kits, I know they released a new 40K kit that was sold out quickly, and they rushed to probably the Chinese suppliers and had them crank more out, right? So they are very responsive to the fans' demands for the kits. So 106.25 is what this was listing on at Amazon for the Necromunda Underhive. And right down into Blood Bowl, right? They've got Blood Bowl, and there's several variants of this game. Mantic has one. There's another one coming up here that's selling well. So those of you guys that like football and want to play like a sport via miniature wargaming, there's this for you out there. Right below Blood Bowl, let's look at the Blood Bowl cost. It's right at about $100. And then we go right into Guild Ball. Now this is produced by Steamforged Games. I have not ever played it, but it's number 7. It's in the top 10. So it's showing you this sci-fi, futuristic whole genre is really pretty dominant in our industry, guys. And go down here, the 2-player starter set's only like $56, $55. All right, and here's the one that popped up. I was like, well, this is gonna tie in with, I never even watched it, but it was a very popular, I want to say Netflix, but I may be wrong. You guys can correct me below. It ties in with that whole mystical fantasy genre, right? And this is the Song of Fire and Ice tabletop miniatures game. Some people probably think it's a little board game-ish, but I do believe there's some expansions on this and actually some more mass battle aspects to this game. Right, Song of Fire and Ice starter box. Yeah, $100. Top 10. Here we go. Star Wars Legion. What we're having right here currently on the channel that I'm building, and once I get another temporary table set up down here, we're going to do some playing around with that and that rule set. All right. Really like it. It is the softer plastic, guys. It is a little more tricky to get the mold lines, etc. But I will say this, it doesn't have a lot of mold lines. Very minimal, right? So it's not really that big of an issue, but it is the softer plastic that they're using on those kits, right? The core set, now that was something I did check on because I did buy it, but when I purchased it, it was around $80, right? Fallout. Now this is a game, a video game, back when my son was still coming home for summers. He lives on his own now, but this was a popular game of his. He played this a lot, Fallout, right? And here you see it in video, or in in miniature game form. There you go, $51 on Amazon, and then we go right down into MALIFAUX. Now I have seen this on tabletop and other sites. It is a cool, enticing, I don't know, almost like comic book style miniature wargaming, right? It's skirmish style. You can build a city scene or whatever you want, a farm scene, and bring your favorite characters out and play, right? But I've always been intrigued by this one. It really looked interesting to me, right? But I can't do it all, guys. Can't do it all. leave the comments below if you've played MALIFAUX, if you currently play MALIFAUX, and try to give us some feedback on that. That's kind of a more obscure game out there, a little bit. I personally get the impression it's really big in Europe. It's not as big over here, but I could be wrong. Let's go down and see MALIFAUX. They got several different types of starter boxes. Also, I do remember this. They have the MALIFAUX Wild West version. Frostgrave. Now this was a game that was big on blue table painting several years ago, and it looks like it's been expanded upon. And they got several different box sets that you can choose from here on Amazon. And then of course there's Infinity, still in the top 20. Another one I get the impression it's really big more in Europe since it's coming out of Spain. But I know there's a lot of players over here too. So, you know, in the comments below, guys, put them down there. Let's get some conversations going. Got your Infinity starter set. They come with some of the fold-up cardboard buildings. 78 bucks. Again, it's going to be skirmish style, skirmish level. Excuse me. War Machine still hanging in there. This was made really big, 5 to 10 year period. This was really big on the old Beasts of War. It was something that was big on blue table painting back in the day. On a lot of the videos I was watching, I never did get into it. It just wasn't my genre. At that time I was deep into Flames of War, and that's really where I played, and we started playing some Dungeons and Dragons also. So there it is for you. They got the starter box is going to be around 85 bucks. Dust Tactics. Okay, now this is the one. It was a mass infantry battle game that basically just went under. Now, what I've understood on this, because I did want to see where this game went. It was very popular, kind of went up and then it went down. A few different companies picked it up. Battlefront even picked it up at one point. And now it's morphed into this. It's more of a tabletop game, not a mass battle game. And it is actually owned out of Findlay, Ohio, the couple that owns and runs the company now. And it's really, looks like they've revamped it. It's very popular. It's in the top 20. And a lot of guys, from what I understand and what I've read, is they will still scour the internet looking for these old kits so they can still do the post-World War II alternative turnout of the war, so to speak, and the wild weapons that they came up with after World War II. Very interesting, but it's really kind of settled down into more of a skirmish board game style game, right? They got the big cards that you put down on the table, and you can alternate them and things that give you your scenery, etc. Right? And you play out scenarios and things. So yeah, there's that still out there. Now in the top 20, I was curious and I was wondering if this was still in there, and there it is, number 16 in the top 20, Flames of War. It's still there, guys. And I'll tell you the reason why. That game system gets a lot of support. They are still cranking model kits out. They've revamped the rules to some dismay. They really want to make it a little simpler to play and play shorter, smaller games. And with the cards, with all the decks and things that you can bring into your armies, and completely switching over to plastics, right? So it's still in there. It's still hanging in there. Here's the new starter set. It's the Fury starter set, and look what they did too. That was really interesting to me, is they kept that price really low to get new younger players in, especially college age, high school age kids, gentlemen and ladies, into this rule system. Battletech. Now, I had heard rumblings through some other groups that I'm in that this was starting to get really popular, and I would imagine that this will start to move up in the next couple years. This is an old game. It was, I think they did cartoons on it. This was one of the original game systems that was out there with the first Warhammer stuff, guys. I remember seeing it in the hobby shop I was in Minneapolis. They had, and I actually bought some of the battle bots and morphed them into some of my, we'll have to show you here when I go through my old Warhammer 40K stuff. Where I have some of the old BattleTech battle bots that were metal. They sold them in blister packs. They had like a whole wall of them, right? And I picked up a few and said, I'll use these in my, I want to use these in my Warhammer 40K armies, right? So yeah, there it is. Very easy BattleTech beginner box, 20 bucks, right? I'm sure they're plastic now. But I'll show you what I've got. I've got a couple that were like little walkers, and I took some of the 40K Space Marines and the guys that had like control packs, and I made them like they were little walker robots that they can control with a control box, right? It was kind of cool and it worked out great. It was fun to play. I've got them in my display case. I'll have to show you. 18 Axis and Ally guys, and now a lot of guys say, oh, hold on. No, this is the miniatures version. They sell pre-paint tanks, army stands. For the guy who doesn't want to paint, isn't all of that, here's an avenue for you. It's all pre-paint, it's pre-boxed. You just build your armies and you play your games, right? It's still produced by Avalon Hill, and they got a couple different starter boxes. They even have the aircraft battles that you can do. And this is produced by Wizards of the Coast, the same company that brings us Dungeons and Dragons. Right, so they say it's selling really well. It's very strong. It's a classic genre and name recognition. They're like Coca-Cola, Axis and Allies. You hear that, most people have heard of it before. And here we go. I don't have these, but I have some of the. When Lord of the Rings was first coming out, this same company produced a series of miniatures and a small miniatures game that was just like this. I had the little counters on the bases. I have those in the display cabinet. I bought those at our local hobby shop. He had some in and I grabbed them. I figured, well, I better get these because they're pre-paints. You know, everyone's going to want them. I could use them for Dungeons and Dragons at some point. Now here we go. Whiz Kids Hero Clicks in the top 20. And it's interesting to see, again, a great, oh look, I can't tell if that's the Lord of the Rings or not. Yeah, it is. Rings. The Rings Hero Clicks, they're calling it. So maybe they do have some of this stuff still floating around out here. But the price is low. It's perfect for the high schooler, the middle schooler to get into miniature gaming and having pre-paints and start having some cool battles, right? Now I thought this was interesting. The 20th position is held by a game that's, again, pre-paints. You can buy cards and expansion packs with the pre-painted, looks like pirate ships and stuff. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool. If I ever saw that, I would probably pick up the starter box or starter pack. And then, like a lot of these game systems over the years, these pre-paints, they do the booster packs. They did it with Wings of War. They had pre-paint airplanes. They still do. It's still out there. But here's another spin on it with the pirate theme. Okay, so that's basically it for the top 20 selling games coming into 2020. Now they'll update it again December 31st and release anew. So this is really kind of 2019 coming into 2020. At the start of 2020, these were the top selling games that folks were going for and plucking the money down on. So let's pop over here to the top 10 rated games from TTG. Let's go back up to the top so I don't give everything away. We'll go back up here to Guild Ball. Right, it was on the other list. Guild Ball, you know, the Blood Bowl and all this, it's all kind of similar. This is more fantasy, right? More fantasy related. But it was rated. It was rated up there. So this is something that a lot of guys are getting, especially younger guys who don't have the cash and resources and time to paint and get into these really involved games. They can pick up a box, maybe paint up a few figs or just dry brush them, whatever, and they're basically in business, right? All right, we have Test of Honor. It's in the top, one of the tops of my list here with the bolt action minis. I want to learn the bolt action rules. I kind of want to learn the battle groups side of it too, like I said in the last video. But this Test of Honor, I love my samurais, right? Kagamishu, was that the movie? Kagamishu? And then the one that's got, Tom Cruise, right? That's a good flick, actually. But love the Japanese culture, love the ancient Japanese warfare. Want to build me some Japanese castles and stuff like that. I think that would be a hoot. Really looking forward to that. I'm thinking maybe sometime next year. We'll see. I still have got my bolt action, my legions. I still want to work on my 15mm American Civil War army as well over the winter time, right? So you got that to look forward to. Now here's the Infinity. It's holding its own. It's still in the top 10 over here. So yeah, so that's something I'd like to hear below, guys. If that's something that you've played, how much you like it, how addicting is it, and how much you get out of it. And here we go, the MALIFAUX still in there. And I thought when I saw this and was going through this, wow, what amazing minis. I thought that might be looking into just to collect to put in the new display cases I'm going to be getting. And same with some of the Age of Sigmar and stuff that I may not ever play, but some of those model kits I've seen would be perfect standalones to put in a display case. Dystopian Wars. Now here's one just hit me out of the blue. It's not really even on my radar, and I thought, oh wow, those look like really cool. Those look like really cool kits, right? You know, futuristic, you know, sea warfare. It must be pretty popular. It's on here. It's in the top 10. And here we go with our Wings of Glory. Blood Red Skies. It's still the same thing, but this is those pre-paints. They'll come in booster packs. So it's a easy go-to. I thought when I saw this, they've really improved on the quality, and look at how they put the cards down underneath for the various flights. I thought that was really cool. And another example of how younger players are getting into this, or even older players who are just not into all of the building and the painting, and they can still play miniature war games, right? And the pre-paints look amazing. They look great, right? Kind of like, I gotta say, and I've got it out here, it's on the shelf. The X-Wing, those are all pre-paints, and I gotta say, they are amazing pre-paints. They did a great job on those kits. And that's still in the top 20, right? Still in the top 20. Or was it? No, it's not. It's not. I think it was like rated 25, but it's still in there. On the top 10 list, we still got 40K. The old 40K is still in there. And they've also rated it with Warhammer, but what they mean is Age of Sigmar. Now these are Age of Sigmar figs right here. Yeah, see, the Dungeons & Dragons of the miniatures world, right? And here we go in the top 10 of this list. That's what I was thinking about. And then I think on the other ratings, they're in the top 30, right? So you got X-Wing's miniatures game. I freaking love this game. It's so good. It's the second version now. They've tweaked the rules more. I have not picked up the new rules yet, but here you have the amazing ships that you can get just, you know, right out of the box, ready to play. Now this was kind of cool, and I really like the figs. The zombie apocalypse, Walking Dead, All Out War. It's here in the top 10, and I thought the figs looked amazing. They really did look good. Personally, right now, not my top thing to gravitate towards, but maybe, hey, you never know. 2, 3, 4 years, I may be right into the zombie apocalypse games, guys. You just never know. War Machine Hordes, there he is. They're still hanging in there, right? It's still out there. Hordes is going to be more of the fantasy side, and weird creatures and things. So there you go. I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to hear some comments below and read some comments below. And get on over to my Facebook group. Dang it. Alan Smith Hobby and War Games. I put a lot more things up there consistently, almost daily. Even things that just pique my interest and I want to throw up. And other little toy hobbies that I have. I'll pop on there just for amusement. And it's another great place to get a hold of me. You can go on Facebook Messenger, and you can also shoot me comments on that more on a daily basis of things that I'm putting on there. And I also invite people, if you feel like it, and not a lot of people do, put your projects on there and things that you're interested in here in the hobby world. And without further ado, I'll let you guys get going. Thanks again for coming along for the ride today. And for God's sakes, whatever you do, don't stop hobbying. Ciao.